Plaintiff Laura Miller and her husband Justin say Justin surprised Laura with tickets to a Britney Spears concert, but the defendant ruined the show for them. Laura claims the defendant attacked Justin with her purse and then kicked Laura in the face, and they have the pictures to prove it. They're suing her today for emotional distress and the cost of their tickets. Defendant Tara Allen says that the altercation started after her friends accidentally spilled beer on Justin during the concert. Tara claims Justin completely lost it and started making fun of Tara, and she only fought back to protect herself.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Tell me what happened.
Your Honor, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for allowing me to appear back in your courtroom. The first time I saw you was your first season, which was about 11 years ago, so it's nice to see you again.
All right, thank you.
Now on to the case.
What were you in trouble for then?
No, Your Honor, I was actually the plaintiff. I was suing an ex-boyfriend, not
one more time,
currently my
that'll be
husband.
3 strikes.
That's right.
We're only on number 2, so we're good to go so far.
Go ahead.
A few months back, in the month of April, April 3rd to be exact, my husband had surprised me with concert tickets to the Britney Spears concert. At the time, I had a 3-week-old baby, or we had a 3-week-old baby. It was my first outing since I've had the baby, so I was very excited to go out for the evening. He had planned the evening to include a couple friends of ours, one which is here in the courtroom with me today. Prior to the concert, we had dinner at a nice restaurant, and I was actually able to put some makeup on and wash my formula hair and actually have a fun night out. Mm-hmm. All was going well until we got to the concert and were assaulted by the defendant.
Did you know her?
I didn't. She was a complete stranger. Her and 2 friends were actually sitting in the row behind us at the concert.
Were they running late?
The concert?
Yeah.
No, we were watching the opening act. Which
I'm just trying to figure why they were you didn't know the woman and she assaulted you.
I'm trying to figure that out too, Judge.
I didn't. That's not true.
Did they tell her Britney wasn't showing up? I mean, what were you mad?
No, and it didn't
Were
even.
they late?
No.
Go ahead, let me finish. This is odd. Go ahead.
It's extremely odd. I still am.
You all don't seem like the type that would provoke a fight with someone behind you, but who knows?
That's exactly it, Your Honor. During the concert, her 2 male friends, which were seated almost directly behind us, were standing up and dancing, enjoying the concert, and they had beers in their hand.
Now, you all seem like that type. Sit down! Go ahead.
I was in my mommy mode, Judge. I was actually just enjoying myself. I didn't feel that an altercation would actually occur at a Britney Spears concert.
But you yelled for her to sit down.
The 3 of them were extremely intoxicated, even at the beginning of the concert. So I don't know if they really realized what was happening or what they were doing, or maybe they were doing it on purpose. I don't know, because they were extremely...
You wanted your husband to say something?
Yeah, it got to the point where I had asked them numerous times to stop pouring beer down my back. They were standing up.
That's not true. It was more of a threat.
And they continued to pour it down the back. My back was soaking wet. My chair was soaking wet, and I had asked them at least twice, if not 3 times, to stop doing that. It got to the point where on the last time I asked them, I said, look, you got to knock this off. And that's where the defendant stepped in and said that this is all part of being at a concert. Don't you know that? Haven't you ever been to a concert before?
That you're expected to get beer spilt on you at a concert.
Right. And so you took your beer, no doubt. Said, okay, let's have fun. Let me hear your side, ma'am.
I entered, and yes, he was telling them that they needed to stop, but it was more threatening. It was more of, I'm going to come up there, spilling the beer.
Needed to stop doing what?
My friends were spilling beer, apparently, unintentionally. They weren't doing it on purpose. So they were dancing and having a good time. He was making threats, saying that you need to stop spilling that beer. I'm going to come up there.
And then what, did he?
Well, then I said, it's a concert. I've been to a lot of concerts before. I've been out with my friends before, with, in
Why
these
did you jump
types
in
of situations. Because I interjected. He called me. Because it was just affecting my having a good time, and I took it as a threat.
And then what happened?
Well, at that point, the 2 gentlemen were so intoxicated that one of them came down to my level. Then the second gentleman was so intoxicated he actually fell over the chair and fell down to my level. So the 2 gentlemen were on my same level. The defendant was sitting approximately 3 chairs down, moved down to directly behind me. At that point, the verbal altercation between the 4 of us continued to the point where the defendant swung her purse and hit me in the side of the head.
The guys never swung?
Well, I'll get to that. After she did that, immediately one of the guys punched me in the side of the face, and then the defendant kicked me in the face and then kicked my wife, which we have photos of the injuries.
As soon as the defendant kicked me, she actually leaned back in her chair with her stiletto heel. I saw it.
I did not have stilettos on. They were flats.
I was reaching under my chair as soon as I saw the gentleman come down onto my husband's row and the pointing their fingers in his face. I was reaching under my chair to get my purse out, and that's when I looked up, turned my head, and I saw her stiletto heel come right at me, kicked me in the forehead, which the photos will document.
That is certainly a hold.
That's very not true.
And had it been 1 inch lower, it could have caused blindness.
So blood was gushing out of my head at that time. That's when my husband turned and saw that I was extremely injured, and he knew that it was time to get us out of that situation.
And how did that happen?
Well, at that point, I turned around and I saw my wife bleeding from the face. I've been a police officer for 12 years.
You're a police officer.
And at that point, I was concerned about the safety that we were in. I saw my wife bleeding. I knew I had a large contusion on my face because I could feel it. So I pushed one of the gentlemen into the other gentleman. He fell down. I pushed the defendant back in her chair, and we left.
Go ahead, ma'am. Tell me about this.
That he first was humiliating me in front of everyone, saying how I needed to go to a salad bar. After I said that we're at a concert, have a good time, sorry that they're spilling beer, but sometimes that's how it goes. And then he returned with, I need to go to a salad bar. Then he looks at my friend, well, you need to take her at least twice a week. That's when my friends interjected, because then they were pretty upset about the whole incident. I actually wanted to get out of the situation, and it just kind of escalated.
Quiet, ma'am.
It just escalated from there.
You wanted to get out how so? What did
I just said,
do?
just stop it. Just leave it alone. Let's just have a good time and forget about it. Then my friend went down on his level. They got into each other's faces. I was frightened. I thought that he was going to hit my friend. I poured a beer on him, and that's when he lunged at me. That's when I hit him with my purse, because he lunged at me, and I was afraid. I was very afraid.
You should have been.
As I hit him with my purse, the plaintiff then turned around, and she was hitting me on my leg. So I hit her with my purse, and I did not kick her with a stiletto. I did, in fact, kick her. I'm not going to say that I didn't, but it was not a stiletto. It was a flat shoe, and if I would have known that she would have lied about that, I would have brought the shoes to prove it.
Did you all have her prosecuted, or them?
We did. We actually brought a criminal charge against her for the injuries.
How about the other guys?
One of them currently has a warrant out for his arrest, the last I checked with the prosecutor. Your Honor, I do have the police report of the night stating that the defendant did plead guilty and was extremely intoxicated, that she couldn't even stand up. I also have a court document showing that she was convicted of 5th-degree assault and the punishment that she has for the criminal trial.
Ma'am, what do you say to this?
I pled guilty because, for one thing, I couldn't afford an attorney. I did not qualify for the public defenders.
That means you could afford. People who can't qualify are the ones who can afford it.
I couldn't. I absolutely couldn't afford it.
Did you make that argument with the court?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and they didn't go for it, right?
And then, no, and they...
Neither am I.
They wanted me to go through different avenues, and I couldn't take the stress of this whole ordeal. I mean,
it was too stressful.
It was. I mean, I regret every minute of it. I wish
you get drunk,
I wasn't
like
sitting
you did
by that.
That would have wiped away your stress, like you did when you jumped on these folks. Falling out drunk, as the report says.
I've never been in this kind of trouble before. Never. I'm not a person. Why
shouldn't you pay, ma'am?
Because I'm not a person that assaults people for no reason. I had good reason. I was defending myself. And if he was a police officer...
you were convicted for assault. So why shouldn't you pay for your conviction?
Because I felt that I was defending myself.
Okay, and let me just tell you that in a civil case, the burden of proof is lower than a criminal case, meaning that you would have to be convicted beyond a reasonable doubt in a criminal case. And in a civil case, it only requires a burden of more likely than not. All they have to demonstrate is that it is more likely than not and show by a preponderance of evidence that you're responsible for their injuries, and they win.
Can I also say something, Your Honor? I do regret the situation, and I think that had it been with sitting by anybody else, this would have never happened. I think that if he's an officer...
Anyone else would have allowed you to pour beer on them?
No, but it wouldn't have escalated that way.
Let me tell you what, if I'd have been sitting there, it'd have been worse. $5,000 for the family.
I don't deny the fact that I insulted her weight, but it still doesn't give her the right to physically assault myself and my wife.
I mean, they came at me, so I was defending myself.
If the defendant is not seated behind us, yes, we will attend a Britney Spears concert.